this is your Monday moment. The key focus as we start moving into this land of new normal and acclimation to getting back to work and getting back to the swing of things is now starting to look at, do I focus on worries or work? Because some personalities of those you have the privilege of leading will hang on to grudges or resentment or concerns or scorekeeping. Some will find excuses to not adopt a new way of thinking or not adopt a new way of doing, as is the case with so many. And your question then becomes, as a leader, do I let them continue to be worried or concerned because I understand they're reeling and I understand that their spouse may no longer have employment, or there may still be financial concerns, or there may be even concerns of the health of their family in the coming months or weeks? Concerns are legitimate. Work is also legitimate. And as a leader, sometimes it is necessary to make the tough decisions and the tough calls on where you'll place your focus. So let's talk today a little bit about this potentially very serious and certainly delicate topic. Do you focus on worries or work? In order to help you make that determination and answer that question in any number of situations for yourself, it requires taking a look at a few key specific elements. The first of which is acknowledging concerns and how good you've become in that area. First and foremost, acknowledge the worries they're sharing. Acknowledge their fears, acknowledge their concerns, acknowledge their legitimate either hardship, difficulties, mere frustration with changes, or inability to seemingly get their feet back under them after everything went through such unprecedented upheaval. Acknowledge their concerns, acknowledge their emotions. Spend a lot of your time saying things like, I hear you. I absolutely understand. If I were in your shoes, I might have the same feelings. I'm here for you. I support your decision. And then there comes a time when the acknowledgement of the concerns will start to feel forced or perhaps even insincere. And that's your danger, danger, danger sign that it's time to shift from that step to this next one. Once you've acknowledged the concerns, your second step that will help you answer the question of worries or work as your key focus is to start to limit the ability for one to use excuses. As a leader, set boundaries, much as you would with negative behavior or attitudes, boundaries around the ability to use excuses for poor work performance. Even if the situation is difficult or dire in some cases, it may warrant the so difficult and even more delicate conversation that perhaps this work location is no longer one well suited for your situation. But perhaps that's premature when you're trying to determine for you whether or not you focus on their worries and continue to give them grace and bandwidth to perform poorly, or do you shift now to expectations of work output and quality? It's all very much a personal decision, and may in some cases be driven by the culture of your organization, or top leadership, if you're in a larger organization, may weigh in on their opinion about when it's time to make that shift of giving them opportunities and or saying, okay, let's giddy up and get back to working. If you first will acknowledge the concerns, you'll feel better about how you're handling the situation. And if second, you will limit their ability to use excuses and therefore conduct long periods of time in what one might call manipulation, you'll feel better about what they're doing and how, as a team, you and those you have the privilege of leading are working together. This third step that will also help with the question, do I focus on worries or do I focus on work, is more an overarching step that would be applicable in almost any situation, and that is to develop a process. And develop a process for how you will handle poor work performance. In many organizations, it's a verbal written, a formal, and a termination conversation. In your organization, that may hold true, or it may even be a more informal 3 strikes method. You come to work 3 times late in a row and you're out. But also understand that some of those processes, some of those procedures will now need modification. Maybe today it's the 5-strike method. Maybe today it's a verbal 2, then verbal written, then verbal written 2, then formal written. Maybe we operate with a little bit more leniency or tolerance, or in some cases, maybe we don't, depending on the situation. But develop your process that works in your organization, on your team, and within the guidelines in which you are working as being part perhaps of a larger organization if you're not the owner or in top of the company. If you develop that process, also keep in mind the need to communicate that process to others. The need to ensure, if you have an HR department, that they're on board with what you're doing, that they're aware of any changes. And also take the time to look at your rewards and your consequences. It's so much easier to influence, motivate, and invigorate those who may be emotionally struggling or stuck in resentment or anger over some of the things that have been happening, with inducements, with rewards, working in concert with the very nature of human behavior. So much easier to motivate them with inducements and possibilities than it is with dire consequences, particularly when your organization has likely faced much doom and gloom, much mention of consequences, and might now be numb to consequences as a concept. Try inducements, try rewards, and examine those options, as well as develop a process in that area. And keep in mind, your different personalities are going to need recognition and rewards delivered differently. But that's another Monday moment. For now, when you ask yourself the question, do I focus on their worries or do I focus on work? You should have some answers. I'm Monica Wofford, and that's your Monday moment. Have a great week and an even better Monday. And yes, indeed, your leadership, it is still contagious.